Imagine waking up tomorrow and stepping outside into a world that feels subtly wrong. Not dangerous, not chaotic, just strangely empty. You don't know why at first the sky is clear, the wind is normal, the streets look the same. But something in the air feels off, like the world is holding its breath. You walk through your neighborhood, pass by gardens, parks, flowers, but there's a stillness you can't explain. A silence that shouldn't exist. And then you realize it. There is no buzzing, no small flashes of movement drifting between flowers, no flickers of yellow, no gentle hum, no vibrating sound in the air, nothing. The bees are gone, all of them. At first, the world treats it like a strange anomaly, a scientific curiosity. News anchors talk about it with nervous smiles. People make memes. Social media turns it into a temporary joke. Bee gone uprising. Bee rapture. Bee Thanos snap. But within hours, the tone shifts. Scientists begin issuing urgent statements. Governments call emergency meetings. Agricultural experts break down on live TV trying to explain what the next few months will look like. Because this isn't just an environmental mystery, it is the beginning of the biggest biological collapse in human history. The first mistake humanity makes is assuming the consequences will unfold slowly, over years or decades. But the collapse begins instantly. The moment the bees disappear, the planet enters its final flowering cycle. Every apple blossom, every blueberry bloom, every almond flower, every avocado bud, all of them are blooming for the last time. They look alive, they look beautiful, but they are functionally dead. Without bees transferring pollen, the flowers are nothing more than empty shells. They bloom, they wither, they fall, they die, and the world doesn't replace them. Plants look alive, but reproduction has already stopped. Civilization has entered a biological countdown without realizing it. The first week passes. No riots, no panic, no empty shelves. Everything looks normal because most food is already harvested and stored. But experts warn that the next season of crops will fail not partially, not moderately, entirely. 75% of global crops rely on pollinators. Bees perform 80% of that work. Almonds, gone. Strawberries, gone. Blueberries, gone. Apples, gone. Avocados, gone. Coffee is gone. Chocolate, gone. Pumpkins, gone. Squash, gone. Melons, gone. Cherries, gone. Cucumbers, gone. Peppers, gone. Tomatoes, severely reduced. Onions, reduced. Soybeans, reduced. And then the collapse that spreads to livestock. Cows rely on bee-pollinated plants like alfalfa and clover. Without bees, those fields collapse. Within months, dairy production crashes. Milk becomes rare, butter vanishes. Cheese becomes a luxury. Meat production shrinks dramatically. Suddenly, the world starts relying heavily on wheat, rice, and corn, crops that don't require bees. But humans cannot live long-term on calories alone. We need nutrients from fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, oils, all now rapidly disappearing. Malnutrition begins creeping in quietly. Kids show signs first: vitamin deficiencies, weakened immune systems, developmental issues. Adults follow. Hospitals begin seeing illnesses normally eradicated decades ago. Doctors warn of global nutrient collapse, and still, we haven't even reached the real danger, because bees don't just pollinate crops. They support entire ecosystems. 2 months after the disappearance, wild plants that depend on bees fail to reproduce. Meadows turn into empty fields of aging plants. Forests lose understory vegetation. Wild berries vanish. Seed availability collapses. Bird populations begin to plummet. Species that rely on seeds, finches, sparrows, chickadees, decline first. Their predators begin declining after. Hawks, owls, foxes all starve as their food chain crumbles. Small mammals vanish next. Rodents that rely on nuts suffer population crashes. Predators lose their prey. Biodiversity begins spiraling downward. And then comes the soil decline. Most people don't realize this, but bees indirectly protect soil health. Flowering plants hold topsoil in place. Their roots knit ecosystems together. Without them, soil erodes, dries, and loses nutrients. Farmlands become barren. Deserts expand, rivers choke on sediment, and then, quietly, forests begin to die back. Not all at once. Not like flames, but slowly, subtly, heartbreakingly, one missing generation of saplings at a time. The world loses green biomass. This raises atmospheric carbon. Weather patterns shift, heat waves intensify, rainfall becomes unpredictable. Climate instability grows. It is a global collapse, from the smallest wildflower to the largest forest. Now, humanity enters the panic stage. Governments scramble to find solutions. Engineers propose robotic bees, tiny drones designed to mimic pollination. But it's hopeless. A single hive contains tens of thousands of bees. The world has trillions. Even if we built mechanical replacements, we couldn't deploy enough in time. And nature requires more than motion. It requires precision, vibration frequencies, chemical cues, and behavioral feedback evolved over millions of years. Like, we try hand-pollinating crops, but it only works on small scales. The world is simply too large. Billions of flowers bloom in every forest, every meadow, every mountain. Humans cannot replace what bees do effortlessly. Food begins to run out. Prices skyrocket, riots break out, governments fall, nations with weak food systems enter total collapse. Countries begin hoarding food supplies. Export bans are enacted. Trade routes shut down. Economies tumble. Society fractures. Fertile agricultural regions become militarized wars, break out over farmland, water, and remaining resources. The silence in nature is matched by the chaos of civilization. Without bees, the world divides into two types of nations: those that can artificially pollinate some crops, and those that cannot. The wealthy survive longer, the poor die first. Aid organizations collapse under pressure, borders close, millions migrate, millions starve. The United Nations declares the largest global famine in human history, and the planet still has not hit bottom. Because now the oxygen shift begins, not catastrophic, but noticeable. Shrinking forests and collapsing plant life reduce global photosynthesis. Oxygen concentration dips slightly. CO2 rises, temperatures rise, weather becomes violent, sea levels rise faster, storms intensify, floods hit farmland, heat waves destroy what little crops remain, wildfires spread through weakened forests. The world becomes harsher, more unpredictable, more unstable. The disappearance of bees didn't destroy humanity overnight. It removed the foundation of the biosphere, and the collapse radiated outward. But here's the most chilling part: this isn't science fiction. This is the direction we are already moving. Bee populations are collapsing worldwide. Colony collapse disorder, varroa mites, pesticides, monoculture farming, habitat destruction, climate stress. In some regions, bee populations have dropped by up to 90%. We are living through the early chapters of the scenario you just experienced, slowly, gradually, quietly. And most people have no idea. But unlike the scenario we imagine, we can still stop this. Bees can recover, they can rebuild, they can return stronger than before if we give them what they need. Wild meadows protected instead of cleared, pesticides banned instead of overused. Local beekeepers supported instead of struggling, urban gardens planted instead of paved over, native flowers restored instead of ignored, monoculture fields diversified instead of sprawling endlessly. We don't need robot bees, we don't need miracle technology, we don't need a global overhaul of civilization. We just need to stop the slow motion collapse we are already causing, because bees aren't just insects. They are architects of the natural world, builders of ecosystems, guardians of food chains, carriers of life between blossoms, messengers between plant and planet, the heartbeat of the biosphere. And if humanity ever wakes up in that silent world, a world with no buzzing, no pollinators, no bees, the question we ask won't be, why did the bees disappear? It will be, why didn't we listen when we still had time? If you found it interesting finding out what life would be like without the bees, like, subscribe and turn on that bell so you never miss another thought-provoking video from the Mind Metrics. Thanks for watching, and like always, stay curious.